Welcome again back to Bald, Beautiful, Bold, Mollie B's Alopecia Journey on Inspirational Wednesday. Oh, it's been my pleasure to come into your homes or wherever you're viewing this podcast. But before we get started, I need you guys to share. I need you to share to your family and friends because it is not about you, it's not about me. And I love Miss Sheila, but it is not about Miss Sheila. It is about sharing this word to our family and friends. So please share this time. I want to begin to tell you about this is Alopecia Month, and this is the month that the Lord has called beautiful women to this platform. This is the purpose that God has into. One of the purpose that the Lord really highlighted for this platform is, and I asked him, why did he have me to do it? And he said, well, it's simply because of this is what I called you to do. And what he called me to do is inspire and empower you individuals to be strengthened by your own testimonies versus being weakened by your experiences. And I like to share that every week because I need everyone to understand why this platform is here. What is the purpose of this platform? It's the purpose to inspire and empower, to motivate you. I am a purpose-driven person to be able for you to find your purpose, to empower you to get up and do what God has called you to do. Just like Paul told Timothy, his spiritual son, stir up the gift. What is that God called you to do? Whether it be to have a platform, whether it be to go volunteer, but whatever it is, God has called you to do it. So I'm thankful for that. But I just want to get started with this guest right here. Miss Sheila, welcome. Mama.
Thank you for having me.
You are beautiful. You are gorgeous.
Thank you, honey. So are you.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
sister. So are you.
Miss Sheila was on last week. We knew that it was going to be like this. She has a testimony. She has a story. And we knew it was not going to be captured in 1 week, y'all. When the sisters like us get together, y'all know we talk a lot, but we talk with a purpose. See, that's the deal. So I welcome Miss Sheila. I welcome her story on this platform to my audience that the Lord has called me to. So Miss Sheila, we're going to just get started, but I want you to just recap very slightly, briefly on your story. So this, because someone didn't get to join last week. And I want to introduce you to them. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Recapping, my alopecia story started when I had children. Well, not because of children. I had thinning of my hair, which thinning is in the family. So I discovered that the thinning was getting worse after I had my first daughter. I thought it was associated with just hormones or perm or something. So it just stayed thin. And 5 years later, I noticed after I had my son, I would either shower or comb my hair and touching it would just fall out. So I've gone for years, 20 or more years with alopecia. And I was married 26 years and my husband at the time never knew that I was struggling with this alopecia, thinning of the hair, because I would close myself in the restroom and, try to see what I'm going to do with this hair. But moving fast forwarding, as I spoke last week, I end up making the decision to shave my hair due to a coworker who had alopecia, and I saw some coworkers speaking about him and his alopecia. And I was going through the struggle myself. So I said, I have a twin that I lost, and I constantly thank God for the spirit of having a connection to communicate with her during hard times.
Yes.
And during the time of me making this decision to shave my head, it was just a conversation with her, like what I'm going to do now. I need to be an example. I need to share with people about this young man at work. They talked about with Asia, and I need to advocate, and be an example to my children on how to deal with adversity. So I had all this going through my head as I capped last week, and I just came with the eyebrow pencil and I shaved it, and then after that, I had several people that I really cared about and shared with really helped me embrace having to stand out into this world of alopecia.
But let me ask you this, sis, and that's beautiful because you had a connection that gave you strength through your sister, through, even though she's no longer with you, you still have the strength of her. And you hear a lot of stories about twins and how, they are as close. I mean, closer than close. And I want to talk to you about that later, because I hear a lot of twins have that bond. But let me ask you this. I always like to ask this question because everyone explains it differently. Well, how do you, when people ask you about alopecia, how do you best explain it? Different people that I spoke with, they had some ways that they shared it, and I just say, wow, because I had to come up with my own version. But how do you best explain to someone, because alopecia is not, we are just now getting it out. Now that I'm out, I hear a lot more about alopecia. But how do you best explain it from your words?
Well, it depends. If it's someone asking me about what's going on with my hair, which several asked, was it cancer? I had to explain to them, no, it wasn't that, it was hair loss. But the follicles eat up and the immune system fight the follicles in your hair and don't allow it to grow like you want it to grow. And I don't think I shared this last week. Sometimes I have a tendency of trying to make a joke out of some of the things, just for me to be strong. And some people ask about how can I, first say I'm beautiful. They do share that it looks well on me, but I jokingly says, and I'm hoping this is appropriate, and I think it is, I say, you know what? It's almost like having a man. If I can't have all of you, I don't want none of you. So I had to
your uniqueness. That's the first time. I like that one. That was the top one right there. I like that.
I had to just start to look at it in a different way. It was scary. As I mentioned last week, I hadn't seen anybody bald, so I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do. And I literally got my inspiration from Wakanda, believe it or not. And so when I'm speaking to people about my hair, I don't let them see that I'm feeling bad about it, because then they'll follow your energy and they'll start feeling bad about it. So in all things, like I shared, I'm an example to my children, teaching them how to deal with adversity, teaching other people that it is what it is. So I had to stand out in my truth. I had to just step out, stand out. I thank God for the silly words that he gives me, so people don't have to worry about me. I don't want them to worry about me. I do, however, want to be able to encourage those ladies to let them know, though I stand out in my own way, I understand that it's not easy, because it was not easy by no means to come out and to shave my head. And if I didn't have the spirits within, if I didn't have my mother's strong single mother strength of dealing with what you have to deal with, adversity, and definitely didn't have the power of the Father above, I don't think I would have been able to do it so easy, because as I said, I didn't have those examples like we're trying to give our sisters struggling with.
And that's beautiful what you're saying, because everyone had a journey. We had a path to come. We came along a path, and everyone to be able to say, I didn't have, the support. I didn't even know, because one thing I didn't want anyone to know, I was embarrassed. So I was dealing with a lot of challenges within myself, but to be able to be a life for someone else, to have that freedom to let them know that it's okay over here. One gentleman in the neighborhood, he saw me, and of course he didn't know, and I didn't even know anything about alopecia, and I began to tell him, and he said, well, I'm sorry. And I said, no, baby. I said, don't be sorry for me. I said, girl, it's fine. I said, I'm not hurting. I'm not in any pain. He said, well, you look good. I said, and I look good. I said, and I feel good. I said, so I appreciate you for praying, because no one's going to turn down prayer as long as they're authentic prayers and, it's a good prayer. But I said, I'm okay. And that's what you said. You have to show your strength, because otherwise people pick up off of your energy. Now when he sees me, he said, you just some kind of lady, aren't you? I say, to God be the glory, because I don't want to take any
all things. Yes.
I don't want nothing. I don't want a smidgen, because I tell everybody, God get the glory out of everything from the top of my head to the sole of my feet. And he gets it. He's the one who gives me this energy, who gives me this smile. Because at one time I couldn't smile, sis. I had, and people that know me couldn't believe that because of the energy that I have and the spirit that I have. But I said, no, the enemy took my smile. Oh, my Baba Shata. And I remember hearing Kirk Franklin's song, Smile.
Yes.
And girl, it did something to me because God always have somebody to speak to you, to speak into you, to sow into you. And you know what you have asked God for, sis. So when they began to speak or when they began to sing, the memo connects because you had already prayed for that. Yes. So God said, I'm going to send it through another way. And however that way comes, you for you because it's gonna speak to your spirit. It's gonna be confirmed with your spirit. And I'm thankful for that because it has been some days, honey. Yeah. It has been some days. But let me ask you this. You did speak on this about your sons. You wanted them to know how to handle adversity. When you look in the mirror, who do you feel like you're representing?
My mother. My ancestors. Knowing that folks have gone, it doesn't mean that my struggle is less than the next person, but it helps me to realize that we go through this thing called life and it happens to have struggles with it.
Yes.
Right. And it don't feel good at the time. It doesn't even feel like you're going to get through it at the time. But if you live the life long enough to see how God have continued to show how he sees you through, your shoulders start to relax a little bit more because he has shown you. Now it's a little different when people are struggling and are not there yet. So you got to be careful when you're sharing. And excuse me for this thing moving around here.
That's a beautiful being. We good.
Yeah, you got to be careful because you don't want anybody to think, because when you're in it, it's not easy. So you want them to understand, I'm in it. I'm not going to give you the whole story. Come on, you could do it. No, I want to meet you where you are so you can get where you need to be.
I like that because everyone has, when we're born, God has attached a certain amount of struggle to each of our lives. So we're going to go through struggle, as you said, and to be able to meet someone, like you said, where they are, because it's a journey. It's a journey. Okay. So I can attest to and understand the fact that we have come to a certain place because we don't come a long ways, but we have not forgotten where we came from. Okay. So that's how come we can meet them or meet whoever we are that, just coming out. That's how come we can say to them, it's okay. I understand. We mirroring each other. But let me tell you what's on the other side.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I just want to mention this young lady, Keita Porter, the Keita Porter. I love to hear her talk about how you just got to be in there and you just got to stay in there and and feeling good about herself going through alopecia, because I listen to a lot of our sisters, Tracy, Monique,
Yes.
I listen to Angie. I don't want to start saying names because I want one of my sisters to beat me up because I hadn't mentioned their name.
So we have a brain freeze.
I love you all.
A lot of them, there's a lot.
Yes, each and every one of you for sure. But yeah, I just have to. I just have to stand out in my truth and be able to hug and embrace my sisters in the struggles and let them know I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And where you need to be.
So let me ask you this. You got a platform, and I want to highlight your platform because last week you told about it, what's the platform and what is the purpose of it? Because I want to be able for everyone on this audience to know what you're representing too.
Okay. Well, the platform I have is more inward for my sisters. It's called Baldies with Purpose. And the purpose of this platform is for us to learn to support each other. What we do, we demonstrate about us having our alopecia. We educate, which means we tell everyone about the different types of alopecia and some of the signs of alopecia and what are some of our struggles were and were.
Mm-hmm.
And we just we elevate everyone, and all this is part of our advocating.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of the group that I created was for us when others are having events needing support from their sister fellow alopecians, we get together and talk about us getting together and joining them in their in whatever they're trying to advocate. As long as there's a purpose behind it, and as long as we're educating others in regards to alopecia, let's support them in what they're trying to do.
And we can appreciate it because it's all different platforms that the Lord is using all different ways how to get the message across into to his children. And this is last week I talked to you about a two-part question.
Yes.
And we talked about speaking backward to your younger self. But on this other part of the question, this is part B of the question, is if you could speak to your future, what would you say? If you could speak into your future.
If I can speak into my future, I would say, because God has shown you how you could come out, how you can be an example, how you can embrace and advocate for others, I would say to my future, keep going, girl. To know that God is proud. Our ancestors are proud. And to just keep going, and not just keep going, reach back and bring those who's coming along with you.
Yes. You're speaking into this inspiration that the Lord had given me, and it's just like a great segue because we're going into our future. We continually moving forward. And this beautiful inspiration that the Lord had given me comes out of Philippians 3:10-11 says, it says that I may know him in the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being conformed to his death, if by any means I may attain the resurrection from the dead. Well, this verse hit me hard because in knowing Jesus, it is to be in relationship with him. And knowing the power of his resurrection, it is to know he provided the way for me to come to him. Oftentimes we miss the mark by not understanding what our parents did for us as a child. And as our very own children grew up, not really knowing all that we as parents did for them. In return, they may want more and not really realizing the cost for whatever it is that they want. And in return, may leave with an attitude, because they don't understand. They want what they want, right? But see, this verse puts us in our children's place with God. We need to know Christ in a special way. Our own understanding, if we even have any understanding at all, changes after we grow to understand the price that he paid for me and for you. As we go through life, as you say, we're going to continue growing. Don't give up. Keep moving. Learn about God, his sufferings. When we are faced with challenges, we should ask ourselves, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
It's on everything, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What we really want to know? We should ask that question. We should not only ask that question, but wait for an answer.
Yeah.
Well, this is the best question to ask, but remember to whom we are asking the question too.
Okay.
Get in relationship with my daddy, your father, and ask him how to handle and get through these tough circumstances. See, we should be concerned as to what Jesus would do because he literally gave his life so that we can have a better life. You know, and think about that. That's the kind of reward that we're working on with our children. If you think about it, we work in these jobs that we talked about last week to have a better life, a life that of great reward and not of pain and suffering. That's the better life God wants for us. And it's the same thing that we went through with our kids, you know, the 9-to-5 jobs like you and I talked about. We may have had jobs from there was a mean to an end to make sure that the children had what they needed. But at the same time, we were being unfair with our wages. We were not being treated fairly for different reasons. And right now, with the uncertainty of the economy, but we were yet trying to make a better life. Hallelujah.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
matters to know what Jesus would do, because in knowing his ways, we can teach our children the value of Jesus and what it costs to know him. And in turn, we can teach our children the same values and treasure these lessons.
That's right.
You know, Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that they should go. And when he is old, he won't depart. And that's what we do. Even though the Lord created us to worship him, we grew up and we did know God at some point, but then we strayed away. But yet we were yet trained. Yeah. Family, treasure these experiences that we are learning. Teach them to your children as you learn them. Like you was talking about your children, teaching them about adversity. You were learning through your alopecia. You were learning through your struggles. But as you learn, then we in turn teach. You know, I find myself, sis, being amazed at the outfits, the different outfits that the Lord picks out for us each week in ways of the verse. You know, he's amazing. He's amazing. Because every morning he gets me up and he gives me something, and it's something that I've asked him for, and the Lord lets me know, share it. So wear Philippians 3:10-11 and get to know Christ and get an understanding of WWJD. What would Jesus do? Sheila, I want to tell you, I love you. I thank you so much for blessing our audience, for being a part, for ending September Alopecia Month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome. I just love you so much. I'm getting ready for a great lineup for October. The flyer is going, it's already been distributed, but get ready for the guests and then look at the flyer and look at the time zone, because sometimes it may be definitely the Lord has blessed me to be global, so it's all over. But I want you to know, Sheila, to continue to moving forward. You look into your future, sis. I heard it, the audience heard it. So we're going to see you moving on, moving forward. Hallelujah. So I just want to bless the audience for being a part of you this week. Please, I don't care, whenever you look at this, you may have not looked at it the right time that we are doing it, but whenever you look at it, I pray that you share it. It's not about you or me. So I want you to join me next week on Ball, Beautiful, Bold, Mollie B's Alopecia Journey on Inspirational Wednesday. It has been my pleasure to come to you again. Sheila, God bless you. And we will see our new guest in October. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.